Origins of ROM Silver Sentry. From the Golden Galaxy, ROM has come to Earth to destroy the forces of the dire wraiths. Originally ROM was a toy CO created by Scott Dankman, Richard C. Levy, and Brian L. McCoy. To promote the toy, the creators have licensed the character to Marvel Comics, who created the series ROM, Space Knight. Meanwhile, in present day, the licensed characters and name belong to Hasbro. Mistoft background and development of the character belongs to Marvel Comics. ROM, the Space Knight comic, was based off a toy created by Bing McCoy and Richard Levy and made through Parker Brothers. Parker Brothers licensed the rights to Marvel Comics to increase sales of their toy product. ROM made his first comic appearance in ROM 1, 1979. The comic book was given to Bill Mantlo as writer and Sal Buscema as artist. Bill Mantlo held the helm for 75 issues till Marvel lost the rights due to lack of sales of their toy product. In the United Kingdom, ROM appeared in the Action Man Space Ranger collection, with ROM appearing with Action Man in promotional strips. Marvel stories have been published in various Marvel UK titles including Forces in Combat, Future Tense, and ROM Summer Special 1982. ROM was recently integrated to the IDW characters that include Transformers, G.I. Joe, Micronauts, and others licensed characters. In this universe, ROM was given a new origin by writer Christos Gage and artist Chris Ryall. The peaceful planet known as Galador was threatened by a fleet of ships manned by shape-changing aliens known as dire wraiths. Galador's ruler, the Prime Director, calls for volunteers to be transformed into cyborg warriors called Space Knights. Afterwards, they can defend the planet from the invaders. The volunteers were promised that their humanity, the body parts that would be removed to accommodate the bionic armor, would be preserved and restored to them after the threat was over. ROM, a poet on his home planet, was the first to volunteer, and was transformed into a large, silver humanoid that at first glance appeared to be totally robotic. ROM was also given Galador's most powerful weapon, the Neutralizer, which on one setting could banish the wraiths into the limbo dimension, a pocket universe, forever. The people of Galador were inspired by his example, and a total of 1,000 Galadorians volunteered and were transformed into Space Knights, each with his or her own unique armor, powers suited to the individual who wielded them. The Space Knights were victorious in stopping the Wraith invasion, but ROM decided to follow the remnants of the fleet back to their home planet, the Wraith world, which orbited a black sun. The unprepared Wraiths panicked, and after a futile counterattack abandoned the planet and scattered throughout space. ROM now felt responsible for spreading the creature's evil across the universe, and swore he would not reclaim his humanity until all dire Wraiths had been banished to limbo. His fellow 1,000 Space Knights, including comrades Starshine Eye and Terminator, swore the same oath and left Galador. 200 years later, ROM arrived on Earth, falling like a shooting star to the ground. Landing near the town of Clairton, in West Virginia, ROM encountered a young woman named Brandy Clark. After seeing ROM battle with the Wraiths, Brandy comes to understand his mission and helps to hide ROM from prying eyes. This becomes necessary once ROM uses the Neutralizer in public, as witnesses only see a killer robot, like something from the old movies of the 1950s disintegrating innocents. They do not realize that ROM is in fact banishing wraiths who are hiding in human form. In time, Brandy's boyfriend, Steve Jackson, also accepts and helps ROM in his mission, although when Brandy began to fall in love with the noble ROM, her relationship with Steve was horribly strained. Fight against the Wraith. During his time on Earth, ROM fights and banishes thousands of Wraiths. Meeting many heroes and making many allies such as the X-Men, Luke Cage, and Rick Jones, who at the time possessed the powers of the Hulk along his journey. ROM's war against the Wraiths takes a turn for the worse. A new form of Wraith appeared on Earth, and appeared to be far deadlier and sinister than the first variety. It is later revealed that these are female Wraiths, who rely on sorcery and magic, as opposed to the much weaker males who placed their faith in science and technology. Unlike the males, the female wraiths chose not to attack and secretly and openly attacked Clairton while ROM is away, killing everyone including Steve Jackson and superhero Torpedo with exception of Brandy Clark. Furthermore, they also make the strategic mistake of openly attacking SHIELD headquarters, the helicarrier, which removes all doubts of the Earth authorities of the existence and threat of the dire wraiths. ROM, however, manages to destroy them and banish their planet with the aid of his super-powered allies, which included Forge, Rick Jones, Brandy Clark, Cindy Adams and members of the U.S. military. Endgame. ROM leaves Earth soon after the battle and returns to Galador. Unknown to ROM, however, Brandy had accidentally met the entity called the Beyonder, and asked him to transport her to Galador. The Beyonder complied and Brandy found herself on Galador, now occupied by a new group of Space Knights that had been created in the absence of the originals. The new Space Knights had been corrupted by their power, and feeling superior to normal Galadorians, massacred the entire race. In an act of sheer spite, the new Space Knights also destroyed the frozen humanities of the original Space Knights. ROM arrived too late and could only save Brandy. Enraged, ROM summoned the original Space Knights and together they destroyed the rogue Space Knights. ROM then made a surprising discovery: his original humanity persisted within the entombed body of Terminator. After reclaiming it, ROM became human again and finally admitted his love for Brandy. The two chose to remain on Galador to repopulate his native world, while the other Space Knights, their humanity now destroyed, set out to explore the universe and help defend other planets. During the years ROM battled the increasingly desperate threat of the dire wraiths, the monsters created new foes for ROM, such as the magically created Devil Dogs, robotic watch wraiths and false Space Knight Firefall, a fusion of human and Space Knight. Two of ROM's greatest foes are the aptly named hybrid hideous result of a combination between wraith and human, and Mentis, a suit of Space Knight armor occupied by the dark side of the Prime Director's psyche. Many other opponents were hailed from Earth itself, such as the Mad Thinker, the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants during an ill-conceived plan to recruit Hybrid into their ranks, the Space Phantom, and even the Herald of Galactus, Terrax. The Thinker's creation Quasimodo also briefly occupied ROM's Space Knight armor, transferring the Space Knight's psyche into an unstable clone of his original form. Twice ROM encountered the shape-changing Skrulls. On the first occasion, ROM became embroiled with the Skrull attack on Xandar, the host planet for the Nova Corps, and on the second occasion, Skrulls landed on Earth to battle with dire wraiths. On this occasion, it was revealed that the dire wraiths were a deviant offshoot of the Skrull race. Powers and abilities. ROM's cybernetics provided him with superhuman strength capable of pressing approximately 15 tons, extreme durability, flight and the ability to travel through space through a backpack ion jets and to breathe in any atmosphere, including space. The silver armor also contained the immensely solar charge that could be used as a weapon and could also drain power sources by mere contact. It also gave him the ability to summon 3 pieces of equipment stored in a subspace pocket. The neutralizer banished dire wraiths to an extra-dimensional pocket known as Limbo by opening a dimensional portal. This handheld weapon could fire energy beams and neutralize various forms of energy. Despite the fact that ROM once encountered a space phantom in Limbo, it is not to be confused with Immortus Realm of the same name. This device was designed so that only ROM would be able to discharge it. The mutant Wolverine once tried to use the weapon and received a near-fatal blast of feedback energy. The designs for this device were also used by Forge to create a power neutralizer that Henry Peter Gyrick intended to use on the mutant Rogue, but instead temporarily stripped Storm of her mutant abilities. The Analyzer allows ROM to see shape-changed dire wraiths in their true form and could assess the energy and potential of any object or entity. Unfortunately, the Analyzer resembles a handgun, and dire wraith imposters have often taken advantage of this fact to fool human into thinking that ROM is attacking them. It could also be used on an item which represented a world, such as a globe, and would display lights corresponding to dire wraith infestations at that point on the planet. The Universal Translator allowed ROM to instantly learn the language of any creature, irrespective of their origin. This was also used to scan and store printed information from an encyclopedia or any printed media in ROM's memory system for future use.